Hello, my name is Rick Walker, and Harry was my uncle. I want to tell this story as a tribute to my Uncle Harry. I loved him dearly. Harry and my father were brothers, and I think they were best friends. He told me this story many years ago, and it was so meaningful to me that when I went home, I wrote it down. Now, I've told this story 100 times. I've told it to my family. I've told it to groups of veterans. I've told it to groups of families of veterans. And I've made emphasis on different parts, but it was mostly about family and how important family was. And I think this story tells me a lot about what Harry was like and how he thought. So let's start with when Harry and my dad were kids. My dad was a little bit older, and Harry told me that his brother Art that Art was always watching over him. He watched over him from the older kids. He kept him out of trouble. He kept him from getting in fights. He protected him from the bigger kids. Harry told me something I thought was so significant. He said that Harry said the Boys Town poster, where the young man is depicted holding the young man on his back, and he's saying, "He's not heavy, he's my brother." And Harry told me that is the relationship. He thought that would describe the relationship that he and my dad had. Now let's go forward. Let's go back to World War II. It had been going on for about a year, and Dad Art decided that he was going to join the Navy. Now Harry wasn't old enough yet, but here was their plan. Dad would join the Navy, and when Harry got old enough, he'd join the Navy, and they would work it around to where they served on the same ship, and they could be together. Harry could be with his brother, he said, and my dad would want to be with Harry. Now Harry and I kind of talked this out, and we both decided there was a good chance that my dad wanted Harry on the same ship, not only because he was brother, but he wanted to continue to be a guardian for his little brother. Now, when the time came, Harry stood in front of the military processing personnel, and he said he wanted to join the Navy. And however, the way things worked sometimes in those days, the man took his paperwork and stamped it Army. And Harry looked at that and he said, "Whoa, no, I'm going to join the Navy." And the guy said, "No, son, you are in the Army now. You go right through that door right over there." And there was no recourse. And Harry went off in a completely different direction from the protective older brother. Now let's spring forward to the later years of the war. Harry had been undergoing intensive training in amphibious landings, and this was in preparation for the imminent invasion of Japan. Now, Harry was aboard a military transport that was packed with other soldiers, and they were moving their way to the other side of the world. In the dark of the night, the ship dropped anchor off the coast of a group of islands that, the names are lost to me. And in the morning, Harry worked his way forward to the deck to get some fresh air, and he looked out, and he said he looked out, and every place he could see there were ships. Evidently, during the night, they had joined a huge task force. And there were military transports that held others, thousands of other soldiers. Now, they pretty soon they lifted anchor, and they all started to do a ballet motion in the sea there, and they would soon get linked up with a military escort that would go along, that would be going with them, protecting him. As you can imagine, needless to say, a transport that's full of thousands of soldiers that are going to invade Japan are going to be a prime target for an enemy submarine. So anyway, Harry said that pretty soon a military transport is escorting them, going alongside. And he said he looked over and it's a destroyer escort. And he said, well, that's my brother's ship. That's the DE-165, the USS Parks. My brother's on that ship. And even on the other side of the world, my older brother is looking after me again. Now, in reality, my dad was below decks. He had no idea his brother was so close. But my Uncle Harry looked at it that symbolically his older brother still was there to protect him. He said that single incident was something that instilled hope in him, that everything was going to be all right throughout the tour of his military career. And that single incident helped reinforce a commitment to his family as he grew up all the way throughout the rest of his life. Now I think Uncle Harry was telling me that story. I mean, one thing, Harry always told me stories, but they were never really about something that he shined at, or he was that it was about him. Mostly it was about the importance of what other people were to him. And he was telling me that story to probably at the time to make me feel good about my dad. But I'll remember this story forever because it tells me the kind of person that Harry was. So, thank you for letting me convey this story. Thank you.